Hey everyone, the Chain Soldier collab has started finally, and we have a lot of new units and events to talk about, so let's go through those. First up, in the event tab, you want to go to this section here. This celebration, you'll get one of these tokens, and there will be a banner to get one of these two units for free. It's a 50% chance on either, but you'll get you're guaranteed one of these, right? There's no other unit that you can pull on that particular banner, and once you pull on the banner will disappear, which is why I can't show you the banner very used by. But that means you only need to pull for the other unit that you didn't pull, right, to get both. Therefore, you don't have to waste resources on trying to get both of them at the same time, which would be quite costly. And I'm glad that they took that into account, considering there's going to be quite a lot of new units. And it's nice that they're not forcing us to buy all 6 of them, right? We're going to get most of them for free. But while we're here, there's some other additional events. This one is like a gacha event where you can get the skins for free. Not for free, but like for the tokens, right? I'm unsure how you get these. I guess this one you have to spend crystals on, so this is probably not worth it. But you do get 3 of these from the main story event. I'm unsure if you get any more than that, but I would leave this to as late as possible. If you can't get them, then if you want to spend money, then you could also buy the tickets from the shop, or the skins from the shop, or you can buy these Gamba tickets. Probably not worth, in my opinion, to buy the Gamba tickets. I'll probably just buy them straight from the shop if I can't get them here. Then there's also the pass sign-in skins for the monthly skins, right? If you missed any of these skins in the past, then there's a gacha box which I can't show because I've already got all of them. But you can gacha them with the prime crystals as well. Obviously that costs money, so it's up to you on whether you want to spend the money or not and get the skins that you missed out on. Unfortunately, it is a gacha, so it will randomly pick from the pool of skins that you have not obtained, right? So you can't pick the same skin again. That would be a scam. But it would generally mean that this will only be useful if you're looking to get all of the skins. If you want one specific skin out of 5 or something, it will be a bit of a risk for you unless you're willing to get the other skins. Same for the battle pass skins. If you missed those, you can get them from this one. I got all of mine, but you do have to spend prime crystals to get them again. Same as this one. Then we have a login event here, so we get Kyoka for free, who is the Transcendent unit for this collab. So just keep that in mind. It means you don't have to pull on that banner to get her if you only care about collection. And also, I just don't feel she's worth the pulling for dupes anyway. You'll get one for free, and that's like all you really need, I think. Then we have an Alba skin. Alba you'll get from the side story event, but you get the skin from the daily login, right? So 7 days you'll get both the Alba skin and Kyoka as a free unit. And then this is the actual side story event, so let's go into there. Next spring is where your side story stuff is. These 2 are locked at the moment. I assume they're going to be unlocked during part 2, which is in a couple of weeks. Quest supplies is the shop, so you can see here what you can get. You get some of the Alba skill ups for free. This is 6 of them. Plus there's all tickets and golden reverbs. Everything is pretty good, so try to clear this out. But you can take your time a little bit because the boss stages where you get the currency is time gated, and obviously you don't really want to spend stamina on like the lobby stuff, right? You want to wait until hell's unlocked most likely, and that's when you want to burn stamina to help you afford what you need from the shop, right? So for the time being, just do your sweeps, your 5 sweep per day to do the daily, and then don't burn any more stamina on that, right? At least until the other ones have been unlocked. Now, major sin hunt is where the dailies are. You need to log in once a day, do 5 like sweeps on the trial stage, and buy 5 items from the shop, and that can be any item. So just buy anything that's cheap. Just buy that 5 times to help you clear it slowly and get this one done, and make sure you get your freebie currency from this, right? And in the achievements, this is where you'll collect your normal copy of Alba, which you'll get after completing the first couple of stories, or I think it's actually the first chapter of story. You'll get her, and then there's some extra skill ups. Therefore, you'll get a max rank Alba through as long as you buy her resonance gear through your commander's office. You can max her out. Otherwise, it'll be a +9 Alba, right? And this, which is like the 3 from here, and then the other 6 from the shop. These like little tokens here are for the gacha roll, so you do get some from here. You definitely get 3 for the first part, which I've already claimed. So I guess once the other modes open, you'll get another couple there. Not much to talk about for this last section. This is just the story parts. If you want to watch it again, I believe. Okay, and that's the side stories or the side events at the moment that we have. Now let's talk about the units. I won't go into too deep of a like ramble about them, but I will talk about the important points. So first off, we've got Himari. Himari is a heavy type who attacks like in this pattern. Pretty big AoE. She is immune to taunts. This, assuming at max level, should be at immune to taunt. All right. Where is it? I think it's rank 7 is when that one unlocks. Rank 9, you get the highest like normal damage that she deals. This one will ignore damage reduction, scales with crit rate and attack, and at 80%. This sounds very low, however she does do an AoE, so it might be okay just because it's an AoE, but you would generally prefer abilities that will one-shot stuff, right? And therefore, if this doesn't do enough damage, then she wouldn't be that great. It just really depends on how much these scale, because the formula is already wrong in that we don't even know what it's meant to be multiplying or whatever, but I assume it would be multiplying since most things do. And then she also removes this controlling debuffs from her while she's charging up, and then she will do like this ability which scales up to 80%, and then she'll swap between these two when she's charging and not charging. Immunity to taunt, I think I mentioned that actually. So she buffs herself with crit rate, and this is at 70% at max rank, which is not really worth it in my opinion, because most supports will buff crit rate anyway. But if you want her to be self-sufficient, you could do rank 10. I mean, you do want to get rank 9 for her max damage ability anyway, if you're going to invest into her, and therefore what's one more extra skill up, right, at that point. But if you do max her to rank 10, she'll have 100% crit rate by herself, and therefore she doesn't need a support for crit chance, and you can just run something that buffs her crit damage instead. Then her EX ability is like a snipe ability. This happens while she's charging, and the formula again is also wrong. Speed is not an actual stat in the game, so I don't know what this is meant to be scaling off, but whatever it is, it should be times attack times 75%, and ignores damage reduction. Depending on how much damage this does, it could be good. Basically, if it's similar to Caitlyn, and if it does enough damage, then that would be a pretty nice ability to have for a heavy unit. But yeah, I'll have to try her out and see whether she does any damage with it anyway. And then next we have Nei. So Nei is your support type unit. She is a crit damage and crit chance buffer. At low rank, she's basically useless. She needs to be rank 5 to get the crit damage portion of that ability, and then a more meaningful amount of crit chance. But you saw before it was like 3% at rank 0, which is, it doesn't really do much for increasing crit chance. And then the next upgrades for this is at 7 and 9. Obviously, if you want to like fully invest into her, then 9 is the recommended place to get to. 10 is kind of whatever. Not too fast. This ability is this one, I believe. Actually, I don't know what the actual difference is. I need to double check. This one bypasses immunity. I don't know if it looks any different to what I saw on the start. But yeah, it's reducing 10% dodge damage reduction, which is like mobility, right? And this is probably what it is. It affects the current highest HP. Maybe that's what's different. No, it's it's the same. So I don't know what the difference is. But anyway, this is not very useful because in PvP it's gonna affect Farnese and Lulula most likely. Like those are the most tanky units, and neither of them really worry about dodge damage reduction. Therefore, it's not really that good in PvP. PvE, it might be good because at least for bosses, because it bypasses immunity, and if it's a dodge boss that's increasing its own dodge damage reduction, then this could help against that. So I guess overall she's more of a PvE unit. And actually, I should mention her EX ability is she buffs crit rate and crit damage if 2 units have died on your side, basically like another Zhao Wu. And therefore, if you're using Zhao Wu, then you probably want to use Nei at the same time, right? Because you may as well, since you're trying to get 2 units to die anyway, and you can trigger both of their EX effects. Her EX effect looks kind of weak though. It's only 10% of support power. Whereas like Zhao Wu's big like crit damage buff is actually from her EX. I don't know if this is meant to be 100%. It sounds like at least more plausible, but yeah, I guess I'll have to try her out later on when there's a raid boss if she is good for the boss. And her other EX is it triggers the same with the same condition, but it reduces all enemies dodge damage reduction. This also bypasses immunity, so again, probably more of another DPS, Crusade Raid ability. It is nice though because both of these will help increase the amount of overcap damage, right? If you're triggering it, towards the end. So I guess that's probably why this is like a lower amount. It's probably because of they're thinking this is worth a lot, but 5% is not that great. But yeah, we'll see. Then we have Alba as the other freebie unit, or the first freebie, I should say. You get her from the event, and you can get her max rank quite easily. However, her skills don't look particularly appealing to me. She scales off attack, immune to weakening. She has a camouflage. It's for the full round once you max her out. And then her EX is like the thing that's a little funny. So she needs to be below 50% for this to trigger, in which case she'll heal back up. And then she'll gain Rapid Strike. I believe Rapid Strike allows her to attack multiple times, which is probably why the multipliers seem quite low. Because even with a fully maxed out one, it's 60%, which is quite low. But if this is hitting multiple times, that could do like a reasonable amount of damage, and it ignores dodge, or just ignores dodge, right? So which is mobility. Now the issue I have with this is it's very difficult to reach below 50%, aside from certain bosses. But I think most bosses are going to take more damage from Belina anyway, or even Kyoka, which is the next unit I'll talk about. And in PvP, if a unit's going to kill you, if a unit's going to hit you, it's probably going to one-shot you. And therefore, I think these abilities with like 50% of max HP is just a bit of a trap. It doesn't actually do anything, or just very difficult to trigger. And that is pretty much it for Alba. I just don't recommend building her, right? You can, just because it's a free max unit. You could play around with it if you want, but my gut feeling is that she's probably not going to be useful. I could be wrong, and yeah, I guess time will tell whether that is the case or not. Now, a couple more units to talk about is the Transcendent Units. We get Starry for free. It's a sorry, we don't get her for free. We get a rerun of her. We used to get her for free, but I don't think we get her in this event. It doesn't seem like it. Now, therefore, I don't think it's worth pulling for her. You do get some like extra things here, I think. Yeah, so if you're pulling on Transcendence, you get some like it's a bit of a rebate basically, but it's not worth pulling just for this. You add a net loss. It just I don't know why they just didn't bake it into the actual cost of like obtaining these tickets, but it is what it is. At the moment, there's no real. I mean, Starry is okay, but she needs rank 4 to be useful in PvP, and therefore it's a pretty hefty investment for a unit that I think will not have longevity. And therefore I don't recommend to pull on this unless you want to just pull one for collection that is a reasonable a reasonable thing to do if you care about a collection, right? And then Kyoka is the Transcendent unit for the collab unit. Not too surprising, she is the main character, and her abilities don't seem that great to me. She's a burst damage attacker. However, her multipliers, it doesn't feel like she's gonna out DPS Angel Belina. Plus, she doesn't have a damage type ignore. She scales off her own like mark ability, and if you're marking a boss, realistically, if you're trying to go for max damage, you only really improve once, because you attack once. Hopefully, the boss is at like 10k health or something very low, and then you finish them off with your nuker's like big attack after that. To her credit, she does have a big attack because she does do like a bonus damage based off the stacks on the target, right? And then it basically pops that and does like damage based off attack and crit damage, or sorry, crit chance. And this also triggers while the target is below 50%, and obviously there will be below 50% if you've gotten them low enough with your attack. But yeah, as I said, if the bosses have any sort of like high armor, dodge, or whatever, and there's no way to remove that, then she suffers like a lot from because of that. Therefore, units like Valentine Charlissa or Angel Belina are going to out DPS her for sure. And even on bosses without defensives, I feel like Belina is still going to be the top unit available. And therefore, if you have Belina, I would just stick with her. If you don't have Belina, I'd say it's reasonable to go for Kyoka, but just keep in mind it's going to be very expensive. You ideally probably want her to be rank 10, and Transcendent tickets are not cheap. Therefore, I think it's better to just wait out and hope that Belina comes back. I think there's a decent chance that the normal limiteds that are non-collab will get rerun eventually. And therefore, if you've missed out on Belina, I wouldn't fret too much. You can make do without her and eventually just pick her up. And also because there are other Transcendence units that we know are on the Taiwanese server, which we haven't received yet. Some of them are actually quite strong, and therefore I think it's better to just save for those units. When they come out, I will let you know which ones I would recommend to pull for. Until then, I think better to save up your tickets and your reverbs until they come back. And I believe that covers all of the units and events we have so far. So I'm going to leave it there. If there's anything I missed, feel free to ask, and I'll try to answer you as soon as possible. And also keep in mind that in a couple of weeks we'll have part 2 of the event. Alright, so there's no big rush. This whole event will last about 4 weeks. Alright, so I'll catch you in the next one. Good luck with your pulls and all that. And yeah, I'll see you then. Bye.